Did you guys know that reckless driving is an issue and that there are countless people recklessly driving? This is problematic because many people, whether they're young, middle aged, or old, are getting injured or killed from reckless driving. Not only that, it is also considered one of the leading causes of death in the US. In this speech, I will talk about what reckless driving is and hopefully persuade you all to avoid this problem as much as possible. I'm credible to talk about this topic because I've done research about reckless driving and the problem that revolves around it. This is also relevant to you guys because any one of us might have heard or seen countless news articles about this topic. Today, I will first talk about what reckless driving is, then I'll talk about some of the problems that revolves around reckless driving, and lastly, I will talk about some ways to prevent reckless driving. So the first one is, what is reckless driving? According to law.cornell, reckless driving, also considered speeding, is driving a motor vehicle on a site at a speed greater than or in a manner other than what is reasonable and prudent for the particular location given the condition of traffic, weather, road surface, and having regard to an actual and potential hazard existing. Some factors for reckless driving, according to legalmatch.com, includes time of day, for example, whether you're running late for work or you're at a rush hour, the type of weather, whether it's raining or not, depending on how many people in your vehicle while you're driving could potentially increase the chance of distraction, and the driver's act. Lastly, did you guys know there are many common types of reckless driving? This includes speeding, tailgating, illegal passing, weaving through traffic, ignoring traffic lights, ignoring traffic signals, racing, and much more. Now that you guys know what reckless driving is, next I'm going to talk about the problems that reckless driving can cause for people. The first and obvious problem with reckless driving is that you can really get injured from it. According to 1-800-lawguys.com, reckless driving could really cause physical problems for a person. And such problems include organ damage, spine injuries, fractures, cuts, burns, loss of limbs, and the worst case scenario, death. Some injuries are not serious, but some are life-changing, and this leads me to the next topic. While you can get injured from reckless driving, did you know you can also get emotionally affected too? According to 1-800-lawguys.com, reckless driving could lead emotional problems for a person, and such effects includes anxiety, depression, behavioral changes, sleeping disorder, and PTSD. Getting into a car accident can be a traumatic experience, and it could take plenty of days to recuperate from it. Now, we know that reckless driving could affect a person physically and emotionally, but there's also a third effect that not everyone could first think about when talking about an accident or reckless driving, and that is the financial aspect of it. According to 1-800-lawguys.com, reckless driving could lead to financial problems, and such effects includes property damage, medical expenses, living adjustments, loss of income, and loss of service. The cost of repairing a victim's vehicle can be very costly, and in addition, the medical treatment is also expensive. Not everyone could afford these expenses. What's even worse is that if the victim is severely injured, they may end up having to change their living style permanently, and that could end up costing more money. Lastly, in the financial aspect of this is that victims may end up losing their jobs or end up quitting whether depending on how severe their injuries are, and that could end up them losing a source of income. Reckless driving can affect a person in many ways, and that leads me to my next topic. My next topic is, what are some ways to prevent reckless driving? Now, these examples are not over the top, but simple. The first one simply is, don't go over the speed limit. According to read.org, driving at high speed can result in a tunnel vision, which decreases depth perception for a driver, but while driving at a lower speed, you can get a better field of view. To put it simply, if you drive fast, you won't be able to see your surroundings as much as a person driving slower. And if you drive slow, you'll also be able to react better in braking. Now, I know we all speed from time to time, but I implore you to not speed for the sake of your safety. The next one, according to NHTSA.gov, is to adjust your driving accordingly to other drivers that are speeding or driving aggressively by safely getting out of the way. If you're driving normally, that's great. But there may be times where there are speeders that are behind you, and that's when you should adjust your driving accordingly so that you can reduce the chance of accident that these reckless drivers could cause. Lastly, is just follow and obey the traffic signs. The signs are there for a reason. The signs are there for a reason, and if their speed limit is 25 miles, go at that speed. It's okay to go a little bit more, but not to the point where you're going 20 miles above. To sum up, I discussed what reckless driving is, what are the problems and after effects of reckless driving, and lastly, some ways to reduce the risk of reckless driving. Now that you have knowledge about this topic, you should always remember the dangers of reckless driving and try to prevent reckless as much as possible so that the number of people that are affected by this problem decreases. Now, whenever you're a passenger and you think your friend or family member is recklessly driving, you should remind them the dangers of it. Now, before I close, what are the different types of reckless driving? Thank you all, and this concludes my presentation.